Hello again and welcome back to another video tutorial brought to you by thevirtualinstructor.com. Today we're going to be talking about two-point perspective, and linear perspective is a way to create the illusion of space on a two-dimensional surface. Today we're going to be doing two-point perspective, so I'm going to start with a horizon line, and theoretically the horizon line is what divides the ground from the sky. It's also where your visible eye line would be, or your line of sight. I'm also going to put two vanishing points on that horizon line, and I'm going to space them out pretty good distance from each other. If you put them too close, you're going to run into problems. Then with two-point perspective, you draw the corner of the object first. So that's what that vertical line is, a corner. Then I'm going to draw lines to the vanishing point, to one of the vanishing points, from each end of that corner. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side as well. With two-point perspective, pretty much all the lines you draw, unless they're vertical lines, are going to go to one vanishing point or the other. So there you go. I like to call this the kite stage. It kind of looks like a kite. Then the next thing you do is you just figure out where the object ends, and you're going to draw a vertical line where that object ends. So I'm going to have my building end right here, and then on the other side I'm going to have it end right there. And there's my building. So all I have to do now, or actually it's a cube, all I have to do now is erase the lines that I no longer need. So I'm going to come in with an eraser, and I'm going to erase them lightly so you can kind of still see the lines that I drew in case you get confused. So with two-point perspective, there's actually 6 lines that you erase. With one-point perspective, if you saw that video, there's a lot of lines you need to erase. In my opinion, two-point perspective is a little bit easier. So we erase both the lines of perspective, going back to the vanishing point. Then you also erase the horizon line on the inside part of the cube. Unless, of course, it's a transparent cube. In this case, it's not, so I'm going to erase those lines. Brush those eraser shavings off to the side. And then to help you see the form a little bit better, I'm going to go back over my lines and make them a little bit darker. There are actually 3 types of linear perspective. There's one-point perspective, there's two-point perspective, which we're doing now, and then there's three-point perspective. Some people will argue that everything you see is in three-point perspective. Three-point perspective is really not as practical as one-point and two-point. So one-point and two-point are used most often by artists, although three-point is still used occasionally. Erase some straight lines that were created by putting the ruler over the top of them, really drawing really dark with like a 4B pencil. Alright, this is the end of part 1. I hope you'll join us for part 2 of two-point perspective.